welcome to Table Talk. We are happy to have you with us today. We have today our returning friends, Shelley and Robin, and myself. I'm Sandy from Pine Needles. So we are excited to have you with us. Today we're going to talk about a variety of things. I'm going to talk about some little organization tips, but we're going to start out by what we've been working on.
All right.
I'm going to start to the left this time.
All right.
Because I usually start on my right-hand person. Let's go.
All right,
Shelley.
so I am working, this is called My Neighborhood, and is by Annie Downs, and her fabric line is My Neighborhood as well. And so
people may
I
know
have
her as Hatched and Patched.
yes,
Annie Downs.
yes. So this is the
gorgeous
panel. Now this one, for this particular quilt, I have to fussy cut this, and I've been kind of putting it off because I don't know, just because. So anyway, so this will be cut up into 5-inch squares.
So you'll be
you have
using
that
these
lovely, yeah. So I
So
just
cute.
have, actually the squares end up being 4 and 3/4, I think, is what we're gonna cut. So I have this perfect 5 template that I'm gonna use. And then once I get it centered, I will go back and then cut it down
To that.
exact size, so I can make sure that I get my blocks, you know, how I want them centered on my quilt. So
Oh, cute, because it's got like a little garden and the
yeah,
different
houses.
Cute.
There's like a playground. Oh, right here is a cute little playground. So My Neighborhood's all the things you see in My Neighborhood. And then the blocks, these are just a 9 patch that she has, and so obviously, yeah, because this is the easiest part. Is what I've made. So I have all the 9 patches made for this quilt.
I love her fabrics
And-
because they're just soft.
Yeah.
Just soft. They're just
And then
muted
they're
and
fun.
soft and-
yes.
yeah.
and different than
So I have that one.
usually different than anything else
Yeah.
we have. So
Yeah. Yeah,
it
it
makes it a
is.
more special.
Yeah.
I love her stuff.
Yeah. And then another one I'm making. This one's called Nocturnal Skies.
Oh.
Isn't that cool? We have that kit in the shop.
Yes, we do. And we'll have this other one pretty soon. I think I've almost got it set and ready to go. And I think the line is called Nocturnal that's used in this. And anyway, once again, I started with the easy, so you notice that the pattern has curves and stars. So once again, I started with the
Oh, they're
stars.
so cute though. Look at those star
Big
blocks.
pie.
So you have the
love
2
them.
different star blocks, and then there's this star block.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
So
gonna be
I
so
have
stunning.
so I have all of the star blocks made for that one.
Cool.
So there's that one. Now I have to work on the curves, so that's the next step. So, and then one last thing that I have made is on this flannel quilt. You want to just scoot that down?
We'll
for a
scoot that
minute?
down.
Right
We'll just
over.
cover.
And this
the
is a big
table
quilt.
right up. Anyway, so
This
this
finishes
one,
a twin, right?
yeah, it's like 72 by 90. It's
Yeah.
really big. And then it's just using the woolly flannels that we have in the store.
So
And I think I just cut 7.5 inch blocks
yeah.
to make that. So that's been a fun one. And we have this available in the store now. So
I love it. If the-
that's what I've been.
This is kind of a masculine look.
It is.
So
Yes.
I mean, men. My husband loves flannel.
Yeah.
Well, I made one a couple years ago. Remember, out of it was like a fall color.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, my husband picks it up, and he's hugging it, and he goes, "Is this mine?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Sure."
they
Of
like
course
it.
it is. Yeah,
go for
of course it is.
Yeah.
But it was funny
So,
that because
We don't do a lot for the men in our store.
Yeah.
So when we do, it's like, okay, yeah.
When
let's
that's
do it.
manly.
Yeah.
Okay, Robin.
Yeah, that's what I have.
All right, so I have been working on, I don't have this with me today because it's actually on my machine and I didn't get it quite finished, but we'll have, by the time this airs, we'll have these kits and this quilt will be here. So maybe you could put a picture on. So, and that's using Strawberries
Strawberry
and
and
Rhubarb
Rhubarb
by Joanna Figtree. And then I noticed last week on our table talk, or this week, so whenever, I did a 3-yard quilt. And it is,
nice.
and it's all finished. That will be quilted probably, hopefully by Tuesday too.
So yeah, we talked about those.
So this
fun
was the
patterns.
one that I made. I think it's called Porch Rails. But this was a fun one because, you know, you're strip piecing these so they cut fast. And
Well, these are great beginner quilts,
They
I
are.
think, because
Great
they just
beginner
work up
quilts.
fast or
Yep.
bigger pieces to work with, so it's easier to see what you're doing.
I think it'd be a cute baby quilt or
Yeah.
a
Oh,
spring
yeah.
quilt or
Yeah.
tablecloth, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun.
But I just love this fabric.
yeah.
Did you choose all the fabric yourself?
Uh-huh.
They go
This
well
is Amy
together.
Smart's
Notting Hill.
Notting Hill fabric.
Mhm.
So just fun.
Yep.
3-yard quilt, 3
There
1-yard
you go.
pieces, and
There
set
you
to
go.
go.
Awesome. So that's what I've been working on.
Okay, cool. Good job.
Thank you.
Here's my accomplishment. And it's not finished because I need to stuff it. But I was so in love with Anna's hearts little pin cushions last week.
Oh.
But I have decided I'm going to start different hearts and do a little bowl filler with just little
that would be
heart
cute.
pin cushions.
Oh, cute.
That would be cute.
So,
Yeah.
so this is my first one.
Cute.
That's
Those
easy.
are really fun.
Then I thought I'd share something that Kathy's working on.
Oh.
She is working on. So this is the kit for it, and it is called Red Geese by Zen Chic. So we have the kits in the shop, and Kathy is busy sewing on this for our store model. So it's just fun, low volume with grays and then the fun reds and pinks.
That'll be
Be a
cute.
really fun one for Valentine's season.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
anytime,
cute.
because I love the. Anyway,
You could
Kathy
do
was
that
in love with this. so-
Yeah, and you could do that in so many colors.
Yeah, really
So-
a neat pattern.
Yeah. That's a great
And then I
idea.
thought I'd share a couple of organizing ideas.
Oh, nice.
How I store a few things. So we have all these great like lunchbox tins in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd just kind of show a little bit about what you could put in these. So we have them in all different flavors. So this one here,
I like the way you say flavors because that just is so
flavors.
yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So this
yummy.
one just has my little squares that I've got cut.
Uh-huh.
I think I've got 4-inch, 3.5, and then my 2.5-inch squares. Oh, I left my fun one of the below volumes upstairs. That's all right. So that's something that you can store just your.
Oh.
This is actually a bobbin case for holding your bobbins, but I thought it fits the little threads perfect as well.
You can make yourself a little
yeah, if you
binding kit.
Exactly.
Out of that.
Yeah.
Put, you know,
You
your-
could
Or
even-
if you do lots of handwork and you need
Yeah.
the colored threads,
Yeah.
that's a good one
So
for that too.
something like that.
Yeah.
Great.
And I thought I'd share these other tins we have. So these fun little tins, you can put your notions in. They're magnetic, so if you have a collection of the needle minders,
Oh, there you
fun
go.
to store them in there.
Yeah.
So lots of different styles of those. I love the strawberries.
They're just fun to have.
These are the ones I
And put
keep
around
like
and
a
see.
spool of thread and my needles and
Uh-huh.
my needle threader in. So
Right.
when I bind my quilt, it's
Just
all
grab
together
that.
and all right there. Yep.
So those are kind of fun. Little
You
tin
could
things.
store your binding clips in it. You could just
Yeah.
have it to look at.
So we'll be talking about these in a little bit, but so this is how I keep my locks together.
Nice.
So, because I have the collection that has all the different half square triangles, but if I keep them together and then I can just hang it on the hook in my sewing room,
Mm-hmm.
then I know right where they are. So that keeps those together. Another idea I saw on the internet and thought it was a great idea. So these are one of those half binders,
Mm-hmm.
and they fit perfect with the little half sheet protectors, your quilt patterns.
That's
Oh, awesome.
because I
And
keep
then-
my big ones
Mm-hmm.
in these, but I like
But
that.
just a little half size, so you can keep, like this section has just quilting patterns, this one's embroidery. Over here we've got our little softies.
So nice.
Here's my collection of wonkies. Anyway, you can fit about 20 patterns
Nice.
in a binder. So I thought that was a good idea
Yeah.
for keeping them organized.
Yeah.
So
Fun.
keeping them, now the bags, you have to take them out of the bag
Mm-hmm.
because the bags are the same size as the sheet protector,
Uh-huh.
but they just slip in there, and I thought that was a great idea.
That is a great idea.
So I just ordered like off of Amazon, you know, those. So that's something to share. And then I thought I'd share a couple other little new things. So Lori Holt has a new one of her stitch card sets out. And I think this is a cute one with little boy theme. A lot of times it's more girly. And I think this is fun for little boys. It's got the airplane and boat and car and train. So that's
That's
new.
really cute.
She has started, Fat Quarter Shop has started the sew along at Flea Market baskets. This is a big cross stitch.
Oh.
But it
That's
is,
really
I think it's cool. Yeah. So that's a new pattern. And then this one, they have not started the stitch along yet, but this is her Vintage Housewife cross stitch. So that's another new one we've just got in.
I love that we're taking all the quilts and making them smaller, because sometimes you don't want to make the whole quilt.
Yeah,
But
right.
You could, make a cute little cross stitch.
And you don't have to do
have
the whole
more.
thing. Maybe
Yeah.
you just want the little sewing machine cross stitch,
Mhm.
so you can
Right.
take bits from that. So those are some new things. We got a new collection. I think Robin has already purchased her.
I got my cute
Which,
pink one.
did you get pink?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So these are just these cute scissors, embroidery scissors from, what is her name of her shop? Clara. These are out of the UK. Oh, they have a little tip holder on them. There we go. So they're just a nice,
I just love when you
embroidery
find good. Just
I love cute scissors.
yes, yes.
Don't
I have a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
collection.
Yeah.
I
love cute
like
scissors.
that they can fit in those case.
Yeah, and they're matte. I like that. They're
know.
not shiny. They're
They're
that
just
matte
different.
finish, so they're a little bit different.
Mhm.
And they come in different, colors. It's kind of a dusty pink and a
Right.
mustard,
Well, and they're a
yellow
good
and-
price too.
Yeah, they are.
I don't.
Yep. But these are fun. These are on our website. That's something new. We got a new collection in yesterday that we have not even unwrapped, and I'm just going to show you 4 of the bolts from that. This is a new Riley Blake collection. We had like 11 collections coming this month.
Oh,
Well,
how
some of them were supposed to come last
exciting.
month. Oh, I feel so bad for them because the ports in California,
Oh,
So
I can't
backed up.
even.
they are struggling to get their product
Yeah.
shipped to them. So this one is called Mulberry Lane, isn't that right? Yep. Mulberry Lane by Dottie Lee Polson. And it is just a fun, I love this print.
Cute little
It's
houses
so
again.
That
much.
is so much
I
fun.
love that one so much.
It's just sweet.
Yeah,
Together.
just really sweet.
Oh, look at the
Sweet
little flowers.
florals. This little village house print.
It's just so cute.
It's got some great. So these are only 4 of the there's 18 pieces in the collection plus a panel. So that was our first one to come in this month of cross our fingers many. But
Hopefully.
I thought that was a fun, fresh, I know there's a Valentine line that shipped yesterday, so it should arrive today. Another
Oh, how
Valentine line.
exciting.
So, yes.
I love Valentine's because it's so.
Yeah.
I already started decorating my house pink, so.
We're all
After Christmas, you do the red and the green, and now it's pink.
That's right. Okay. You have some questions for us, Emerald.
I do. So today we're gonna talk about triangles, cause
Triangle.
cause I heard like many times you guys say that's like, it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, they can
hard.
go kind of wonky if you're not careful, just because they're bias.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. You have to take your time, and you just have to almost get to love the process, I think. Because for me, the most frustrating thing with triangles, if you don't take the time to cut
Mm-hmm.
and square them up after,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they can be so frustrating.
Even when you square them up and you're trimming just like that little
tiny-
fuzzy stuff off, that
Right,
even
even if it's
affects
just
your
a hair,
square.
even
Yeah.
if it's just your hair length,
Yes,
just that
exactly.
one piece of thread can make or break you.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
And so these are seriously your best friend.
Oh,
Dropbox.
absolutely.
Now, I have a full set.
Mhm.
I understand that's
So,
expensive. So the
I
option is
Have one.
And I'm the same way as
And
Robin. I
and
have
it will
one.
do.
And you
what
can
you
do
need.
all those sizes
Little ones.
with one. Because you need the right tool.
Yeah. Is
I
this
mean,
a 6
you
and a
can-
half?
it's
Isn't
a
that
6
right?
and a half.
That's
Yeah.
the one I recommend.
You can use your regular, but the difference, it's huge. Like it's a game changer. I would recommend the investment, but if not, you can totally use your whatever ruler that you like. It's just, there's just something special about when you use it and it locks. And when you're, if you get frustrated with trimming, There's just something nice about that.
Oh.
So
When
yeah.
you use the regular ruler and you're squaring up, you
can
can
slide
there's
around.
slippage that happens.
Not with your lock block. It
Because it-
locks it in that seam.
It locks
It just,
right in.
I mean, it just is.
Right?
So
And so
fabulous.
like I like to use another mat on top of my mat. I don't like the rotating. But when you use that mat and then you lock this in, you can
It's just
trim
easy.
this up, slide this down, turn your mat around so you don't even have to pick it up. And then you trim it. And when you find those little tools and the little tricks that takes the frustration away, then you're more apt to do it. Because I know there's a lot of people that don't want to do triangles because
So much work.
it
and
gets to be
Yeah,
a lot of work.
Because
and
if
you can get
I like my
frustrated.
blocks to finish just a little bit. So if they want you to make a 3-inch half square triangle,
Mhm.
I like to take my seam allowance a little. I'll cut what they say,
Mhm.
but I like to take it a scant 1/4 inch at least, so it's a little bit smaller, so that when it finishes,
Mhm.
I have that little bit of wiggle room to square them
To
up.
square it up.
So my points are perfect.
Right. And I'll do that.
Mhm.
But if I pay attention when I start a quilt and I
Yep.
read that it says 2 7/8,
Oh,
I'll cut at 3. Just
I
so
don't
that
do
you know what I
7/8.
mean? Like if you, so you have, because sometimes you have to.
Right, but
You just
not
have
on,
to see what they.
But
you know,
half square triangles, you
Yeah.
can
so.
square them out. So that's our favorite tool in the store, block, but you can use your other.
And they have one
tools.
for flying geese that are
Yes,
excellent. And
I
I
use that
used that
too.
on that Nocturnal quilt I'm
Did ya?
making to make
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
And Kathy
Yeah.
will be using the flying geese ruler when she makes
Yep. Her.
the Valentine
red geese.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I showed
Yep.
that, Kathy. I didn't make you come on camera.
Dang it! One day, one day we'll get you with me.
Okay.
So-
Any other questions?
Talking about experience, what are like the smallest size of triangle you have made?
Probably a 1-inch.
This is not my smallest, but this is one where I use the scraps of a quilt.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's 2
Just all
inches
half
finished.
Yeah.
And it was just my leftovers off of one of my quilts, where you're
Mhm.
cutting the triangles off. And so I thought, I'll do this. And then it's just a small.
So have you done, how small have you put in a quilt?
I'm going to say probably an inch finished is probably the smallest I've done.
And when you're doing those really small ones, squaring them up, you got to do.
It's a game changer
It's-
when you
yeah.
square up.
For
You,
When you're
small
doing a
stuff,
1-inch,
Like-
if you're trying to do it without, so that it finishes perfect.
right. And I'm
Just-
going to say that squaring up with any block is usually, it's a game changer. And it can take away your frustration. Like when I first started quilting, nobody told me about your 1/4 inch. Nobody told me that you need to, I just followed the edge of my presser foot and just sewed. My first quilt was a friendship star, a 4-patch, a 9-patch, and a plain block. Guess what? None of them were the same size. Because because I didn't know about the 1/4 inch. So I learned so much on that first one and the importance of squaring up and your 1/4 inch. But
Yep.
anyway.
Yeah.
Awesome. And there's some good tools out there. We have some tools in the shop for measuring, making sure your marking for your 1/4 inch is exact.
Yeah.
So, and lots of tips online for setting that up. But yeah, you've got to have that perfect 1/4 inch. Big game changer.
So like what will be the stage? Like when should you be the most careful? Is it the cutting? Is it the sewing? Or like just every steps?
Every step makes every step makes a difference. You just got to take your time.
Right.
Just don't get too rushed.
Right.
So on
I
I
just think that your seam,
that your seam is
any of your seams, that's probably going to be maybe the number one thing.
So
I
I
think
tend
anyway.
Yeah.
to go super fast
Mm-hmm.
when I'm sewing and everything. So when I was doing my the Stash Buster quilt,
Mhm.
and it had half square triangles and whatever, I turned my machine speed down. It's always at the top speed, but it has a little thing that I can turn it to the medium, so it
Oh,
only
nice.
lets me,
Let you go that
with
fast.
no matter how
Yeah.
hard I put that presser foot, it only goes medium speed.
Right.
And, you know, my blocks were much nicer when I took my
When
time.
you slow down.
When I slowed down, yeah.
Right.
It's just not in my nature to slow down.
Turn on a good movie,
Yeah,
like.
but
So
I
have
felt
to
like I
tell
was
a story.
like,
So my best machine, my sewing machine, kind of went on the fritz. So I've been using the cheapy machine, you know.
Mhm.
And when I was sewing these blocks that I was showing today, every time it'd go over a seam, because this machine is really loud. You hear it whining as you're going, and you hear this clunk, 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 as it goes over these really thick seams. And I was finding myself kind of like you, because I wanted to kind of hurry, but I knew with that machine I couldn't hurry too
Right.
fast. But I was finding myself having to go back and re-sew it or unpick it or something because the seam was going crooked,
Yeah.
especially when it hit those seams. It was like making a smaller or a bigger seam, and I
Yeah.
couldn't, you know, and so, and then the corners would get stuck down inside the plate, and then I'd have to pull it out, and so, yeah, so it's
That's
like, okay, I'm like,
frustrating.
okay,
see, mine was doing
time
the
for a
little,
new machine.
mine was doing the little knock when I was going over my seams.
Uh-huh.
Mine was because it was packed
Oh.
with lint down
Oh,
inside.
dear.
But
Or your needle, and I
Or
just
needle.
changed my needle,
So
and
I-
it's still
right.
doing the same
cleaned
thing,
it out
but yeah.
all inside and put a fresh needle in when I started. Oh, it was so nice.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. Starting a project, start with a fresh needle.
Yep. Fresh new. Yep.
Yeah.
that's what they say, but I don't. No.
I know. Do as I say.
That's how I say
Not
work.
as I do.
Right.
Okay, my last question will be like, I know we talk a little bit about tools. Is there anything that you mentioned in our store that can help people when they're starting sewing triangles?
So I like to starch my fabric. I use Best Press, which we sell here in the shop, and and it comes in all different scents because there's some that I cannot. I can't handle.
Yeah, right up there.
Yeah,
It's a blue one or any?
any of those. And they have some that are unscented. So this is the scent free. Because there is a certain one that it makes me cough when I spray with it.
Yeah,
so
the
something
scents get
in
to
the scent
people. Yeah.
bothers me. So then this scent free is good. But I like to starch my fabric. I steam
I'm a steam.
when
So
I
am
press.
I'm a steamer too.
That's, you know,
Yeah.
that is two different camps. Use
Yep.
steam, don't use steam.
Yep.
I always use steam.
Always.
Don't iron, press.
Gentle.
You press.
Gentle.
Uh-huh.
You don't
Nice.
iron back and forth because you're
Yeah.
distorting the shape. when you do
Especially
that.
with your triangles, because like
Because
we
they're
said
on the
before, they're on the
bias.
bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to be
And
really careful.
I like to kind of finger press and
Yeah.
then iron or press
Mm-hmm.
because I will totally distort it if
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And my biggest tip is if you're not feeling it, walk away. So take the time to cut it out to begin with. You know,
Mhm.
take
your
that
time.
time and then just take your time with each step. But if don't be afraid to change and walk away.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. Cuz sometimes you can do this and other times you're like, and I'm going to do the big blocks cuz
Yeah.
that's all I can, So don't get frustrated.
And
That's my biggest thing.
I will grab a fat quarter and start cutting,
Mhm.
thinking, oh, I don't need to iron this first. Because I'm all about the speed.
Then you have that crease,
And
that
then
fold
that's
right
just,
on.
and it's like you just
Plus, I feel like if
Take
it's
the
gonna
time.
shrink it
I
all,
know.
that's when it's gonna shrink.
Yep.
I don't want it to shrink after I've cut my piece.
Yeah.
Right.
So
You
if you're
know.
doing a quilt with 10 fat quarters, take them over to your iron, get your spray bottle of your
Crush your fat quarters.
Just have your
Best
moment.
Press. Just watch
I don't know.
something.
I
press
like
'em.
to iron
Mhm.
because I like the crispness. I like
Yeah.
and I think it makes
When
I
you're
don't know
cutting,
if it's the
it's-
warm of the iron or whatever, but it kind of like it starts me out that okay, And now everything's ready and prep and go.
Yeah. So.
How about you, Shelly? Is there anything you do?
I'm kind of like Sandy. Just
just
try
go.
and cut it, don't
I
press
know.
it, and then you have the folds of the fabric. Then you gotta press it anyway.
Then maybe it didn't. Yeah.
So maybe we're learning from each other
Yeah.
today.
So
Because I think we all just learned on our own. Like we didn't take
We
classes. You learn these tricks along the way.
well, and even
Yeah.
when you learn these tricks, sometimes you're just lazy.
That's
Sometimes you're
Turn
just in a hurry.
turn on a good show, slow you down. I know we do. We all get
So,
in a hurry because
yeah.
you know, especially when I get to the borders, I'm like,
Oh,
go,
I know.
go.
I know, because you're so close. Just get this done.
Sometimes I think I must be the only one. So I enjoy the piecing process. I enjoy, all that, getting the quilt top done. I cannot stand to piece my back. If I can possibly not have to piece my back. And it's like one seam. What's the big deal? But when I'm done with the quilt top, like I just want to be done. Is that the laziest thing you ever heard?
Well, yeah. Yeah, no. Well, Kate, I got you one.
I'm like, is there
But
a
you
meat
know,
fee?
it's like,
No, I got one
but
for you.
I will go. I will get my top done. It's like, oh, now I gotta sew my back together. It's
I
like,
know.
ah.
No, I'm the worst. I get bindings on. I don't even tell you how many are on and not bound. Like, not that last hand.
So you
and
send
I
it
love
onto
to
the
sit,
top.
and I've got it sewn on, and it's sitting there.
Yeah.
Every year I think I'm gonna get it done, and I have at least 2 or 3 every time for each season.
If you
put out
got
in the bindings not
machine
done.
part done,
Yeah.
I hate. I'm like, ugh.
I know, but it's bind or cross stitch.
Oh, I pulled out at
Cross stitch is
Halloween
gonna
a
win
quilt.
every time.
Wasn't bound. Pulled out at Christmas out of my bin to just decorate. Oh yeah, that quilt's not bound,
See,
but I'll display it anyway.
I do the same
Nobody
thing.
needs to see the back. It's
So
fine.
now I guess I just need to, okay, each month I'm gonna bind one, finish one. Yeah, no.
So we talked a little bit, and I don't think you guys were with us about the new year and what you're kind of working on this year. You have anything you're working on this year? So my goal, I'll just confess, was I'm going to get some of Kathy's cross stitch finished.
The framing.
The framing of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not there yet. But I'm going to. But I have got to get at least 3 things. My goal is in January, 3 of her projects framed and in the store.
I should come learn because I have my topography
Yeah.
from January last year. It's all stitched.
Yeah.
It's not like I never finished it.
Well, girlfriend, go on to YouTube.
I know. I just need
Go
to
on our
do
YouTube
it.
channel.
I need to be like, hey, come on, just do it.
Because this year we have a new one out too. I mean, it's the same process.
Right. But
So.
I need to be better at that. But I have a
yeah.
new sewing room. And
Yeah.
it's all pink, and I hung up some quilts, and it's like, it's fun. So I'm like, okay, I have a couple quilts for the store. I need to get them done so that then I can,
Do
because then I
whatever.
really realized I have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
My mom was going through things in her sewing room. She's like, oh, I don't want to get rid of that, And I'm like, Mom, the person that made that for you, they enjoyed making it.
Mm-hmm.
They got joy out of making
Mhm.
that. You enjoyed receiving it. You had joy receiving it. Get rid of the stinking ugly thing now.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
10 years later, our tastes aren't the same, and
Yeah.
you are not
Yeah.
hurting someone's feeling. Maybe someone else will enjoy that handmade item.
Right.
So I think sometimes it's like, but I put so much money
We
into that.
tie memories and
Yeah.
things to it that we can't let
And
it
I'm
go.
like, well, the money is spent.
Right.
Whether you finish that thing or not, you spent the money.
Right.
You're
it's
not
gone.
like
Mhm.
getting, so
Mhm.
yeah. But bulk stuff weighs on me.
Mhm.
I can't have lots of stuff.
Well, I liked how you said last week. I noticed that you don't have a lot of stash, and
Yeah, I don't.
wish I was more that way.
That is not your problem.
No, I have like 10 cupboards in my
Yeah.
sewing room, and they are all full.
Yeah.
And under my quilting, I have some stuff.
Yeah. Holly
I probably need to
would
let go.
people would think Holly had this enormous stash when she worked at Pine Needles. And she had a stash, but it wasn't huge. She probably has a bigger stash. Now, if the sisters were taking home garbage bags full of fabric, she has a bigger stash than when she worked at Pine Needles. But she had the same attitude as me. I love something,
Mhm.
but I also know
Self-control.
I've been ordering for a year. You know, I order a year in
Yeah.
advance sometimes. I know there's something else I'm going to love just as much.
Right.
So I just can't have it all.
Right. Plus, I think sometimes when you get more things little finished, you feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Than all these quilt tops just sitting in
Yeah.
places that aren't finished.
Finished is good. But.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like just like the quick quilt. And sometimes my mood is I want something that's going to challenge me. You know, like curves.
Right.
You know,
Right.
sometimes it's like I wanted.
Don't ask me how the best way, because I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Trying to figure out.
They're on the bias too. So.
Anyway, so is that it, Emerald, for our questions?
Yes.
We had?
Yep.
Awesome. So we hope you enjoyed Table Talk. We enjoy being with you each week, and hope you have a nice week.